You don't have a home button. Facebook Live. Go live. Okay, we're live. He has his Bible. Clean that. Sorry, guys. Just I don't know if that did anything, but should have fixed that.
Hey guys. Welcome back to the 9 o'clock hour. Give y'all a few minutes to get on. I hope everybody's doing good. Hope there's some praise reports out there for the prayers we've been praying for. Hope you guys have been talking to God on your own, praying to God, talking to Jesus, growing in that relationship. A lot of craziness going on in the world. There's an enemy of division out there right now. So now more than ever, we need to turn to God for strength. We need to turn to God for guidance and courage. Something that we're definitely going to need going forward because the enemy is alive and strong right now out there in the world. But just remember, the enemy cannot do anything without getting permission. In other words, you give him the power. That's the only power the enemy has is the power that you give him. Today we're going to read out of Joshua. What's happening here is Moses has passed away. Moses lived a long, good life. Moses had passed away while leading the people of Egypt to their promised land. They spent some time out there doing so. And what we have now is Joshua, the son of Nun, I guess that's what it says here. He's going to take over, and God is speaking to Joshua, and that's what we're going to come in. That's what we're going to read. So again, when we look at the word, see what you can take from it. In other words, when God is speaking to Joshua, we look to that to get an example of what God would say to us, how God would react, what God expects of us. Often, we have a lot of people here in the house, so if I'm getting on to one of the children in the house for something that they've done wrong, the rest of the children can look at that as a lesson as to what not to do wrong. They can look at the fact, if I'm telling one of the children that it's unacceptable to have a dirty room and I want their room clean, the rest of the children can get the idea that I don't accept a dirty room. So if I'm getting on to this, I'm going to pick on some of my kids. Let's say I'm getting on to my youngest, Donnie and Zayd, and I'm explaining to them, hey, your room's dirty and it needs to be picked up. It's not acceptable. I don't like this. You know, you have your dirty clothes out. You're not allowed to have food in the room, etc. So while I'm getting on to my children, the rest of my kids, often they'll go, uh-oh, dad's home and he's looking at our room. So they're going to run into their room and clean the room really quick before I can get in there while I'm getting on to my kids. They have learned that they can look at what I'm telling some of my children and understand where I'm at and what I expect. And that's what we do when we look at the Bible. We're looking at what God is telling his children, how God is reacting to his children, and we can go, that's what God expects, and that's what we need to do to make sure that we live our life properly. That's what we need to do to make sure that we please our Father in heaven. So, with that being said, anytime we go into the Bible, just keep that in the back of your mind. What God is telling these other people, what Jesus is telling these other people when he walked the earth, how he reacts, what we can look at that and see this is what's acceptable and this is what's not acceptable. And this is what pleases God and this is what does not please God. And we can base on that. That's how we build our relationship with God. We base on what we see written here. We base on what he's told us, what he's had documented here. It was important enough for it to be put here for that reason. God's wanting us to look at this and go, hey, this is what we need to do. This is what we don't need to do. So here we have it. You have Moses is passed, Joshua is taking over, and God is giving Joshua some instructions. Not only is he giving him some instructions, but he's also preparing him, boosting him up. So let's read into it and let's see what message we can get. Joshua chapter 1 says, after the death of Moses, the Lord's servant, the Lord spoke to Joshua, son of Nun, Moses' assistant. He said, Moses, my servant, is dead. Therefore, the time has come that you lead these people, the Israelites, across the Jordan River into the land that I am giving them. I promise you what I promised Moses. Whenever you set foot, or wherever you set foot, you will be on the land that I have given you, from the Negev wilderness to the in the south to the Lebanon mountains in the north, from the Euphrates River in the east to the Mediterranean Sea of the west, including the land of the Hittites. No one will be able to stand against you as long as you live, for I will be with you as I was with Moses. I will not fail you or abandon you. Be strong and courageous, for you are the one who will lead these people to possess all the land that I swore to their ancestors. I will give them, who will possess all the land that I swore to their ancestors I would give them. Be strong and courageous. Be careful to obey all the instructions Moses gave. Do not deviate from them, turning either to the right or to the left. Then you will be successful in everything that you do. Study this book of instructions continually. Meditate on it day and night, so you will be sure to obey it, to obey everything written in it. Only then will you prosper and succeed in all that you do. This is my commandment. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. And then Joshua takes that and goes and speaks to the tribes that are with him. And he's telling them what they're going to do. He gives them their instructions. And in the end of his instructions, they explain to Joshua that they will follow him. And then Joshua says this: we will do whatever you they answered this. They said, we will do whatever you command us to do. We will go wherever you send us. We will obey you just as we obeyed Moses. And may the Lord your God be with you as he was with Moses. Anyone who rebels against your orders, and does not obey your word and everything you command, will be put to death. So be strong and courageous. Again, be strong and courageous. What I like out of this passage is the second part of it, when God is explaining to him. He starts out, this is God speaking to Joshua, and I like to plug in to that point. As when God's speaking, I imagine he's speaking to me. He says, be strong and courageous, for you are the one who will lead these people to possess the land that I have sworn to their ancestors that I would give them. Be strong and very courageous. Again, he says it. God's repeating himself. Be strong and very courageous. Be careful to obey all the instructions Moses gave you. Do not deviate from them, turning either right or left. Then you will be successful in everything that you do. Do not deviate from them, turning either right or to the left. And then you will be successful in everything that you do. Study this book of instructions continually. Meditate on it day and night, so you will be sure to obey everything written in it. Only then will you prosper and succeed in all that you do. This is my commandment. This is my command. God says, be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. So he's given us some instruction. He's given us some, talk about a pep talk. He's got us boosted up. He's telling you, I'm with you. I'm going to be with you wherever you go. He then tells you how to get through it. He says, fall back to the word that Moses has given you. Study it. Don't deviate from it. Don't do something that the word says not to do. Now, this is Old Testament. This is before Jesus Christ walked the earth. They had the word that was written by the prophecies. They documented what Jesus told them, and that was what they looked at. Here we are, following in their footsteps, following in their example. We have the word that was written to us. So if God thought it was important enough for them to follow the word back then, you don't think it's important enough to follow the word today, not to deviate from it, not to veer to the left or veer to the right. Instead, he says, study it and meditate over it so that you can know it. What better way to follow? How do you follow something that you don't know? I didn't know that was a rule. I didn't get it. I didn't get that memo. Well, yeah, you did. It's here. So I hope that, I know it was kind of short and sweet today, but I hope that you got the message. God has given us instructions, clear instructions. He says to be courageous. To be courageous and strong. He says to follow the word and follow the law, not to deviate. There's no gray area. It's right or wrong, period. He says don't veer to the left and don't veer to the right. If you do this, you will be successful. And only if you do this, you will be prosperous. And you will succeed in all that you do. It's very important. Very, very important. I hope you take that message, share it with someone. It's important. These are instructions. This is a how-to be successful, how to make it in life. Something that we were talking about today is this crazy things that are going on in the world, and it came up. Well, they're getting away with it. It depends on your definition of getting away with it. Are they getting away with it? Well, yeah. Look at what's going on. They're doing this and they're doing that. And I don't think they're getting away with it. I think right now they're digging a hole. The people who are wrong, the people who are following the enemy, the people who are allowing the enemy to dictate what they do, to steer them in the direction that they're going, that's not success, people. That's not success. Just because it looks like they're successful and they're getting away with it, they're not being punished or they're not being told that this is that to stop, or they're not being forced to stop, and they continuously do these wrong things. They're not getting away with it. So don't misunderstand that. Often, I may not check the kids' rooms for a week, maybe 2 weeks, but in the moment that I come home and check the rooms, there's usually a reason behind it. Maybe we have plans. Maybe the kids want to go do something. If I walk in the room and the room is dirty, they haven't kept up their end of the bargain. They haven't done what I instructed them to do. So they miss out on what they want to do. But those children who have kept their room clean, my children who have done what I've asked them to do, they have more freedoms. They're allowed to do things on the spot. If I come home and check the room, although I may not have been there punishing the children for not keeping a clean room for the last week or two, they missed the rewards that are coming ahead. The rest of my children did what they were supposed to do. They were rewarded for it, one way or another, whether it's a freedom, being able to go somewhere, do something else. They've done good with what I've asked them to do, and then I reward them. So I hope you guys understand there's a big difference in getting away with something and not being punished for it right now. Two different things. Their judgment's coming, just like ours is. It may seem to the naked eye that this sinful world that we live in is being rewarded with sin. The sin's being rewarded with, but it's not. They're not getting away with anything. God knows all that's going on. He knows it all, and we'll have to answer for all of that. For right now, the best thing that we can do, continue to spread the word, continue to spread love, and continue to show the world that that is not acceptable, and give them an example of what is acceptable. Sometimes the best thing to do when someone hits you is not to hit them back, but show them what love and mercy is. Maybe they've never experienced it. That's tough. It's been tough for me too. I'm not that person. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I don't handle that very well. I don't handle disrespect very well. But humility is a hard thing to get. I pray for it daily. So I hope you guys got the message. I hope I didn't mess it up. Continue to pray for one another. Continue to pray for our land, please. We'll pray right now together, and then I hope that you continue to pray on your own. Continue to share the word. Yesterday we read where it was commanded to us to share a letter. It said in the Lord's name, I command you to share this letter. The letter, this word, it's to be shared. That's what we're called to do. And it's hard, but be courageous. Be courageous in doing so. It's important. Have no fear. God is with you. Without further ado, let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we pray, Lord, to give you praise. We thank you for your love. We thank you for your mercy, for your grace. We thank you for your instruction. We thank you for your consistency, for your loyalty to us, even when we're not loyal to ourselves. Father, I ask for your mercy to continue to fall over this land. I pray for my brothers and sisters who are righteous and who are not. I pray for those who are lost right now, who are being directed and led astray by the enemy. I ask that you will continue to be with them, Father. I ask for clarity in their life, Father. I pray that whatever strongholds are directing them will be released in Jesus' name. I pray that you will grow in them, Father. I pray that your word will be in front of them and be received the way it's intended. I pray the truth is seen. Father, I can't make up their mind for them. I can't force them to choose one way or the other, Father, but I pray that the truth will be seen and the truth will be understood. I pray that they realize the deception and the lies of the enemy. Father, I pray for my brothers and sisters who are praying with us right now. Pray that you will grow in them, protect them, build them up, replenish them, heal them physically, mentally, and spiritually. I pray that whatever they need in their life, Father, whatever they ask you for, whatever they call out to you for, I pray that you answer them. I pray that your will is done in their life individually. I pray that your relationship grows with them individually. I pray that you hear their requests, Father, that when they call out to you and pray for other people, that you hear them, Father, and you answer their prayers. And at each and every situation that they pray about, Father, that you are there, you are present. Whether it's wisdom, whether it's patience, whether it's filling a void, whether it's healing them. I pray that you're with them. I pray that you would heal all of those, Father, that we're praying for, so that at least their body is whole, at least their soul is whole. I pray for spiritual healing, mental healing, and physical healing that only you can do. Pray that you will make them new again so that they are prepared to take on the world at hand. I pray for courage and strength in each and every one of my brothers and sisters. Pray that they have the courage and the strength to move forward, the knowledge of your word to protect them. I pray that they wear the helmet of salvation. And if they haven't tried it on yet, Father, I pray that they're getting fitted for it right now. I pray for that salvation for them, Father. I pray that they accept it. I know I cannot do it for them, Father, but I wish that they could just see the truth and accept it. Father, I ask that you will continue to be with our land. We need healing. The people are lost. We're being divided. We're being lied to constantly. I ask that you will come down and equal out the playing field, Father. I pray that you will even out the odds. You will decipher through some of those lies and deception and bring some truth and clarity. I pray that the church understands our responsibility in this time to stand up and to be equally as loud as the deceiver. I pray that the church understands that it's time to stand up and to speak out against the enemy. No longer to sit and be dormant. No longer to stand by and let the enemy dictate what happens in this world. I pray the church realizes it's time to wake up. It's time to reach out. Share your word. And to drive the enemy back to the darkness that belongs in. I pray that the church will stand up and be the light that casts shadows far away. Father God, I pray for our leader, President Donald Trump. He's the leader that we have. I don't pray for him for any other reason than he's our leader. And he needs our prayer. Your word tells us to support him, pray for him. Your word tells us that we are to be obedient. Father, I pray that you will guide his steps. I pray that he seeks you. I pray for humility, strength, and courage. I pray that you will protect him. You will put your hands in protection. I pray that he puts on the armor daily. He carries his shield and his sword. I pray that he looks to your word for guidance, and that he leads this land in a way that glorifies you. I pray for humility in his heart. As he moves forward, Father, that he does it in a way of humbleness, Father, that he leads our land in a way that a servant would do. That he serves his people. He serves you. I pray that you get all the glory. I pray that the rest of the world also will see that. The rest of the world also will lead their land. All those in leadership across the world will then turn to you and lead their land in the same manner. And again, I pray that you get all the glory. You're an awesome God, and we appreciate you everything you do. We're not worthy of your love. We thank you. I pray that you continue to be with us and guide us and grow us. I pray that we continue to get the nourishment from your word, that we receive it like food that we eat every day. We take in your manna, and it replenishes us and makes us whole, keeps us healthy, strong. I pray that you'll continue to drive out the enemy away from us. As we move forward, that you guide our steps, you protect us, you shield us from the enemy as we go out to battle. Thank you again for everything that you've done. It is in your Son's magnificent, powerful, powerful name, Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen. Share the message. Somebody needs to hear it. It's for everybody. God has given us some instructions. He says, hey, I'm with you. He says, follow the word, obey it, and you will be prosperous. He says, I have made these promises to you. No one can take them from you. Share the word. Love y'all. See y'all tomorrow.